In 1988, Dave Ramsey had it all. Real estate portfolio, multiple properties, net worth in the millions. By 1989, he had filed for bankruptcy. Lost the properties. Lost the business. Lost almost everything he had spent years building. And here is the part nobody tells you. In that moment, sitting with nothing, Dave Ramsey made a series of decisions that most people in that position never make. Those decisions did not just save him. They made him one of the most recognized names in personal finance in America. The difference between people who lose everything and rebuild and people who lose everything and never recover is not talent. It is not luck. It is not even money. It is a specific sequence of decisions made in a specific order during the worst period of their life. My name is Esteban, and today we are going to break down exactly what that sequence looks like. Because understanding this is not just useful if you lose everything. It is useful right now. Because the habits that allow people to rebuild from zero are the same habits that build wealth in the first place. Step 1. Stop the bleeding before you do anything else. Asterisk asterisk. The first thing wealthy people do when they lose everything is not motivational. It is not inspiring. It is not the kind of thing that ends up in a TED Talk. They stop spending. Immediately. Completely. Without debate. Not some spending. All discretionary spending. This sounds obvious. But watch what most people actually do when a financial disaster hits. They panic. They take the vacation they have been planning because they figure it is already paid for. They keep the subscriptions running because canceling feels like admitting defeat. They maintain the lifestyle because admitting the lifestyle is gone feels worse than the financial hole itself. Dave Ramsey sold his car, moved to a smaller place, cut everything that was not essential to survival. Walt Disney, when his first animation studio went bankrupt in Kansas City. In 1923, moved to Hollywood with $40 in his pocket and a suitcase. He did not try to maintain the image of someone who had a studio. He started from the actual floor. The first decision is always the same. Stop the bleeding. Accept the new baseline. Do not try to protect the lifestyle at the expense of the recovery. Step 2. Take inventory of what actually remains. Asterisk asterisk. This is the step most people skip entirely. When everything falls apart, the psychological instinct is to focus on what was lost. The money that is gone. The business that failed. The investments that collapsed. Wealthy people who rebuild do something counterintuitive. They take inventory of what remains. Skills. Relationships. Reputation. Knowledge. Health. Time. When Steve Jobs was fired from Apple in 1985, the company he founded, he did not have Apple. But he had everything he had learned building it. He had relationships. He had the vision. He had the ability to recognize great products. He used those remaining assets to build Pixar. Then Next. And eventually Apple bought Next, which brought Jobs back to the company that had fired him. The question is never just what I lost. It is always what I still have that the disaster could not take. Most people never ask that second question. They stop at the loss. The people who rebuild always move to the inventory. Step 3. Rebuild the foundation. Not the peak. Asterisk asterisk. This is where most people make the critical mistake. They try to get back to where they were as fast as possible. They take on too much risk too quickly because they want to recover the lost ground. They make aggressive moves trying to shortcut the rebuild. They skip steps because the steps feel slow. And they end up losing again. Dave Ramsey, after his bankruptcy, did not try to rebuild his real estate empire immediately. He spent years learning, writing, teaching, building something small and solid before he built something large. He has said publicly that losing everything was the best thing that happened to him because it forced him to build the foundation correctly the second time. The wealthy person who has lost everything is not trying to return to the peak. They are trying to build a better base than the one that failed, because the base that failed had a flaw in it somewhere. And rebuilding on that same foundation will produce the same result. Step 4. Protect the next thing differently. Asterisk asterisk. This is the step that separates people who rebuild once from people who build lasting wealth. After the loss, after the inventory, after the foundation, they change the structure. More diversification. Less leverage. Better legal protections. Emergency funds that did not exist before. Dave Ramsey lost everything partly because he was over-leveraged in real estate. Banks called his notes due. He did not have the liquidity to respond. After the bankruptcy, he built his entire philosophy around zero debt and emergency funds precisely because he had experienced firsthand what happens when you do not have them. The comeback is not just a return. It is a redesign. The person who rebuilds and never loses it again changes something structural, not just behavioral. Step 5. Ignore the timeline. Asterisk asterisk. This is the hardest one, because recovery is slow, and the people around you who did not lose everything are still moving forward, still buying houses, still taking vacations, still posting about their promotions. And the temptation, the overwhelming temptation, is to rush, to take shortcuts, to try to close the gap faster than the math allows. This is where the second collapse happens for most people. Not in the disaster itself, in the impatience of the recovery. J.K. Rowling was a single mother on welfare when she was writing Harry Potter. She was turned down by 12 publishers before one said yes. She did not rush the book to get it out faster. She finished it correctly. The wealthy people who rebuild permanently are the ones who accept that the timeline of honest recovery is longer than they want it to be. And they do it anyway. Because the alternative, rushing, always costs more time in the end than patience would have. Here is the reframe that matters. Losing everything is not the end of a financial story. It is a reset. And resets, painful as they are, come with a clarity that success almost never provides. You find out what actually matters, what you are actually capable of, what habits actually work versus which ones just worked when conditions were easy. The people who rebuild from zero are not stronger than you. They are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They just refuse to let the reset be the final chapter. And the decisions they made in those dark months, stop the bleeding, take inventory, rebuild the foundation, protect it differently, ignore the timeline, those decisions are available to anyone. Right now. Today. Whether you have lost something or not. My name is Esteban, and this is exactly the kind of decision and mindset I break down every single week. If this one gave you something, subscribe. Because next week we cover something that might be even more important than how to recover from losing everything. How to make sure you never have to. Asterisk, this video is for educational purposes only. Please consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Asterisk.